Greetings and salutations. This is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
Are you interested by any chance in Gallic Cavalry from Victrix Miniatures? Well, I guess you're in the right place. So these are Gallic Cavalry, and there's some pictures on the back of how awesome they are. Sort of throwing a spear, about to stab someone horrifically, and a guy waving his sword shouting at someone, which is always something you need to do. Right, so the Gauls went in for cavalry. No, very few Gauls went in for chariots, mainly cavalry. It was the Britanni went in for chariots in a big way, and the Iceni of the Britanni, who are the Celts under Boudica, they were massive cavalry armies of chariots. Also, when Julius Caesar landed in England, he saw this massive Celtic army, massive amounts of chariots, and he was sort of, oh, we don't know how to deal with this. This is going to be a problem. And so, do you know what they did?
What?
Two centurions swam across a river and went up to the Celtic camp at night and cut all the reins to all the chariots. So the next morning, the Celts, they couldn't ride their chariots. And Caesar won the battle.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's how the Romans think, asymmetric warfare. Yeah. It's cool.
You cheat your way there.
Yes, you cheat your way there. That's Julius Caesar in a nutshell, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So, these are the actual guys. I love these guys. Right, so they're completely in armour. They're very, very, very similar to the Gallic cavalry, who are the early Imperial Roman cavalry. And given that we're playing the wars that we're playing with our game, the time period we're playing, these guys, if they're Gauls, would probably be the Roman auxiliary troops in the Imperial Roman army later on. Because we're going to be doing these up as Gauls for
Britons.
Yeah, we're going to be some in Britons. We're going to do some up as Gauls for the Gallic Wars, which is Julius Caesar's time. So it's when the Romans wore chainmail. The Marian armour instead of the Sigma Tartar armour. So they weren't in the steel armour, they were in the Marian armour. Late Republican Roman. So this is the guys. They're pretty good. The horses are just as articulate. Victrix always does good horses. I always like Victrix horses, and they look very good. We have a nice ram's head banner there. If you mix up all the different Victrix boxes, you can get a hell of a collection of banners that you can swap out between each unit. There's a really good one with a chicken as a banner.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
I just want to know what army marches into battle with a chicken. I just don't know why. I know chickens are vicious and eat mice, but yeah. And obviously when I'm doing the Britons, I'll be putting a plume on every single helmet, but when I'm doing Gauls, only the officers have plumes. So only one guy will have a plume, and he will have a sash, which does not appear to be in this box, so we will have to get the sash out of one of the foot Gaul boxes.
Yeah.
And he will have the clan colours on it. Whatever colours the clan had. It could be all red or all blue or green and blue or checked or stripes.
Or anything.
Basically the precursor to a flag. Because you would take the sash off and wave it on the end of a pole, which would identify your unit in the battlefield. If you are rallying, you need your troops to come to you. The troops very nicely have cloaks, which are pretty good. Again, we'd only give the officer a cloak in this particular the game we're doing, and yeah, it's pretty cool. We have also a large collection of swords. You know my opinion on swords. A decent collection of thrusting spears. This is a thrusting spear here because it has a pointed head on one end and that piece on the bottom, which can, in an emergency, be used as a second spearhead if your spear's cut off. But it can also be used to dig into the ground to plant you in one place. Therefore it's a thrusting spear. And then we also have throwing spears, the long javelin, and the actual javelins themselves, the short javelins. So you have two types of javelin, heavy javelin, light javelin. and they're pretty cool. They're good. And another thing I like is the saddles, as described by Julius Caesar himself. It's the Roman type saddle, and Julius Caesar had a lot to say about the Gauls, didn't he? There was one group of Gauls, a clan. The entire clan was cavalry, and they had 2 men on each horse, and they'd ride into battle and stop, and one man would get off and fight, and the other man would just sit on the horse and wait until his friend had given up and then ride away. Very strange way of halving the strength of your army and making it useless, but they lost, by the way. There was another lot where the riders would jump on and off the horses during fighting, which is weird, and I don't know how that works, but it may explain the Roman saddle, because you can actually do that with a Roman saddle. Do you remember, this is pre-stirrup, the new stirrups. They could have invented the stirrup, but I had no reason to. You could pretty much hang out to the side of the horse, but the saddle would give you something to hold on to. So yeah, they're pretty good. I like them. They're a nice collection of figures. Sadly, I have nothing painted up to show you at the moment because we've just got it. So I got a nice severed head there to hang off the side of the horse. The Gauls went in for that. I would say the Britons, or the Britanni, went in for it in a much bigger way.
Yeah.
They would cover everything in severed heads.
Yeah.
The Celts in Britain. I shouldn't call them Celts. The Britanni, right? In Britain. They were about horrible barbarian people. Right? That it. Anything to add?
Not really.
No?
They remind me of the what do you call them? The Roman light cavalry.
Yeah, the early Imperial Roman cavalry. Yeah.
They remind just a bit like them.
Well, they're not in the right gear.
No.
They're wearing the Celtic type armour, which is very similar to the Republican Roman style of armour, where you have the chainmail pieces are in pieces. They have blocks of chainmail, and you strap them on. So you wear a chainmail shirt, and then you have these additional bits of chainmail you put over the top. It's actually quite a good thing because it gives you 2 or 3 layers of chainmail to protect you. In the same way that scale armour, 2 scales cross over each other, gives added protection. The Romans eventually went on to the segmentata steel armour, which meant that they were better than anything on the planet because they were basically knights at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're pretty good. Our downside is no leg armour, which is what your long shield's for. These have short shield, bad design. The Britons, the Britanni, had long shield on horseback, where they didn't have many cavalry, but the cavalry would have long shield because the shield would protect the legs of the rider. A Roman, seen a rider ride past without armour, will just slash with his little blade, and the guy will die of horrific blood loss. Stupid. No, you need, if you're fighting Romans, you do not want to be
full body armour.
Yeah, you need full body armour. You need to learn how to fight, and the Gauls never did. The Gauls lost.
Yeah.
And they didn't lose because they were badly led. Vercingetorix was a brilliant leader. They lost because... Alright, I take that back. Vercingetorix thought he could fight the Romans by hiding in a fort.
Yeah.
That's dumb. No, you don't do that. The Romans build a fort around you, starve you, and then build a huge ramp up to your castle wall and walk over it, and then set fire to it and kill everybody inside.
Yeah.
So you pretty much doomed your own people to death. You idiot. You should not do that. You should keep mobile and try and keep a mobile fighting force out at all times. Vercingetorix didn't do that. He understood the Romans. I don't think he understood the Romans properly.
No, he had the whole woods to himself. He could do anything in them woods.
That's
the
true.
Romans don't like woods.
That's true. I think what he was hoping for would be the Roman public would complain about the war, and the Romans would leave Gaul. That's what he thought would happen. And it's true the Gallic war was not popular in Rome, and there was a lot of senators who didn't want to fight the Gauls because they didn't think it was worth it, because they were barbarians as far as they were concerned, although I think they were quite civilized, but that's from the Roman point of view. Vercingetorix got it wrong. One, he was fighting a guy called Julius Caesar with another guy called Augustus with him, the future first emperor of the Roman Empire.
To lose.
Yeah, you're fighting two of the most clever, capable men on Earth at this moment in time, and you're just a Gaul. And you may think you're clever, but you're fighting the greatest military machine, a machine that had just destroyed the Carthaginian Empire not long before, a machine which, after the Marian reforms, was the modern Roman army, and you're not going to win. You just not. You won't. There's no point fighting them. Yeah.
But that's it.
That's it.
So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and comment down below what you think of the Gallic Cavalry. That's everything from me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.
See ya.